down to 5 seconds.
145.
Secure.
Well secured. Reloading.
Op 4, last stop standing. Op 4 eliminated.
Experts in psychology can't always agree on the way a genius is defined, but there is a general consensus. A genius is someone who distinguishes himself from ordinary people by having exceptional insight and creativity. Creativity is another term we need to define. The general consensus again here is that creativity is a process that generates new responses which contribute to the solution of problems. So let's start with creativity. In most papers, it's associated with divergent thinking. If you take a test to measure your creativity, it measures mostly the amount of responses or reactions you can think of. Convergent thinking is the opposite of divergent thinking. This way of thinking is what you need when you are presented with a problem, where there is only one possible way of solving it. There are multiple workshops and courses available that can help you to think more divergent. What most of the times happens here is that a group is given a problem and they need to think of possible solutions. The assumption is made that when you just create as much as possible ideas and not judge them too fast, your creativity increases. This technique is called brainstorming. The key word here is assumption. There's not a lot of evidence that this kind of divergent thinking actually increases your creativity, but I'd say it's worth a shot. So to give a better answer on how to become a genius, let's look from a different angle onto the definition of a genius. For this one, I'll use the work of the psychologist Robert Weisberg. Simply said, he argues that geniuses are especially good in solving problems, and that they possess certain useful but very human qualities. The way geniuses think is actually the same as that of the average person. Thinking could be defined as the cognitive process that is involved with forming new mental representations by manipulating the available information. We do this by using concepts and schemata. Thinking is basically a mental activity where we use information that is available to us. So thinking can consist of things like reasoning, imagining, solving problems, judging situations, and making decisions. Concepts are the way we use our past experiences to process new ones. Just imagine if we could not do this, how different playing Siege or, for a fact, life would be. Every time figuring out where to go or what to do. But this is not the case, luckily. Schemata are used to form expectations or to draw conclusions. Schemata are the foundation of our expectations. For example, if you're loading up a Rainbow Six Siege, the word border will probably make you think about a map border, but if you're on your way to a different country, the word border would probably make you think about the kind of border that separates two countries. But for someone who is about to buy a house, the word border would probably make them think about the edge alongside the property. We also use this schemata to draw conclusions. New information that's incomplete or ambiguous receives meaning if you can connect it to existing information from already existing schemata. Schemata help you to fill up missing information. For example, you're playing a match, you died, and you want to give a call out. But you forgot how that spot is called, so you just use a call out you know from maybe even a different map, to just try to give information. I was in this game on bank, and my random teammate called in cash. As far as my knowledge goes, there is no cash room on bank. We were defending top floor, so I asked, do you mean stock? And he said yes. So, without me knowing that he might mean stock trading, I was able to deduct his callout. Because I knew that would be the callout that comes close enough to the real one. I filled up ambiguous information using my schemes about map, bank, and especially the top floor. If he would be defending basement, I might think he meant cash vault. But this was not the case. The thing that makes geniuses unique are certain personality traits. Their big chunk of knowledge and their big drive. To become very creative, you have to know about all or most things you can do in the game. You can put Siege into little subcategories to make the amount of things to learn easier to master, like operator gadgets, self-destruction, secondary gadgets, or any other area you want to learn. A lot of training and practice is required in order to learn all of this stuff. A research performed in 2008 stated that it would take 10 years or 10,000 hours in order to become an expert within a certain field. Now this could be Rainbow Six Siege, psychology, or even things like sculpting. You need a lot of motivation to put this much time and effort into learning something. Howard Gardner, however, states that in order to become a creative genius, it doesn't only come down onto expertise and motivation, but also personality traits. Certain traits that you're born with. The traits named are independence, strong interest in a problem, willingness to restructure the problem, preference for complexity, and the need for stimulating interactions. Exceptionally creative minds resist the social pressure to think in a certain way. This only if it's about their area of expertise. With other words, they have the confidence to go their own way. Within the vision of Howard, creative people are always thinking about solutions for the problems they encounter. So if you think about the last time you lost a round and you're thinking of a way to solve the problem you encountered, chances are that you have a predisposition to become a siege genius. You would, of course, not be very smart if you trust fully what another person is saying. You would be smart, however, if you would question the way the problem is presented. If someone says to you, you need to be ready to swing. I mean, yes, that could be it, but isn't it more that I need to trust myself that I can get the kill when I swing? Or is there maybe another way to state the problem? You can't get smarter in Siege if you don't have the preference for complexity. Smart people in Siege are always looking for the most complex problems to solve. It's a challenge they love solving. The greatest creative ideas get almost always sparked by an interaction between two exceptionally creative people. This might be a teacher or other smart people in the area of expertise. If you want to become as smart as possible, find other people within the community to play with, to talk about problems you encounter, or just talk about the game itself. So the conclusion we can take or make is that you need a lot of knowledge about the game, and that you should not care about other people's opinions. And last of all, you need to be motivated to learn more and to put a lot of time and effort into the game if you want to become a Rainbow Six Siege genius with a big brain. If you want to know more about the way you can solve problems or how the average person goes about it, subscribe, because this will be the topic of my upcoming video. Also, if you have any questions, I would love to answer them in a video or down in the comments. We're here to learn and become better and smarter. Thanks for watching.